Welcome to the Civil Engineering Writing Project. Our goal is to guide you through effective writing techniques in the civil engineering practice. This webcast is on Language Unit 7, Information Flow and Sentences, moving from known to new information. Effective writing makes it easy for readers to understand the writer's intended meaning. This unit teaches you how to organize information for easy reading by placing known information before new information in a sentence. You might wonder what's known and what's new. Readers process information by moving from known or already established information to new information. Putting new information at the end of the sentence naturally gives it emphasis because readers expect new, interesting information there. Think of it like a journey. It's hard to find your way to a new place if you don't know where you're starting.
You always start with what's known. In our experience, the misplacement of old and new information turns out to be the #1 problem in American professional writing today.
An item of information is new if readers cannot immediately bring it to mind as they read. This includes ideas that were mentioned so long ago in the text that readers won't have them in mind, ideas that are part of the reader's world knowledge but are also unrelated to the topic that readers won't have them readily accessible. While readers do not want text to be repetitive, they can become confused if the writer considers information to be known when the reader interprets it as new information. This effective writing example comes from a feasibility study for a roadway improvement.
The existing bridge, constructed in 1959, is a 163-foot long 3-span reinforced concrete T-beam structure. According to the as-built plans, it was designed to accommodate the planned high water elevation of 229 feet. The minimum existing soffit elevation is 231 feet. The calculated water surface elevation for the 50-year flood is 233.1 feet. Therefore, the clearance of the existing bridge is insufficient for the 50-year flood event.
Sentence 1 begins with known information established in the heading. The new information describes its age and characteristics. Sentence 2 has an introductory phrase with the inferable information for these readers. Sentence 2 uses the pronoun it as the subject that refers to the same known object, which is the bridge. The new information concerns high water. Sentence 3 begins with information that is easily inferable. Bridges have soffits under which water must run. Sentence 4 begins with information that is new in the text but known from the reader's experience, which is that elevations of floods are an important consideration in bridge design. Sentence 5 begins with the connecting word that marks the concluding interpretation. The subject is also inferable. The subject of sentence 5 is also anchored by the known existing bridge from sentence 1. This sentence illustrates the known new principle well. The writer led up to the conclusion, putting it in the place of greatest emphasis, which is the end of the sentence and also at the end of the paragraph. You may have learned in the past that you can improve the flow of your sentences by using transition words, such as therefore, in conclusion, first, or second. These words show the relationship between sentences and can make your ideas easier for readers to follow. However, if your writing violates the known new ordering of information, just adding transition words will not improve it substantially. Here is a version of example 1 that violates the known new information organization and has many transition words.
Woodward Engineering constructed a 15-feet-long 3-span reinforced concrete T-beam structure in 1966. Consequently, this is the existing bridge. The planned high water was an elevation of 229 feet, according to the as-built plans for the bridge. However, clearance for the 50-year flood event is unlikely for the existing bridge because the minimum existing soffit elevation is 231 feet. The calculated 50-year water surface elevation is 233.1 feet.
The information in this example does not flow smoothly. Revising for the known new information order will have a much greater effect than just adding transition words. When writing your first draft, it's usually too difficult to consider your ideas and the reader's desire for the known new ordering at the same time. But when you revise, looking at your information flow is crucial. As you revise your writing for information flow, here are specific techniques to try. 1. Revise sentences to have a short, known information subject followed by the verb. 2. Place lists of new information after the main verb of the sentence. And 3. Add a framing sentence at the beginning of a paragraph. We will present several examples of student writing that need revision to be more effective. For practice, you can pause the video to rewrite the sentence using the writing technique. All the writing techniques presented here are explained in greater detail in the written version of Language Unit 7. One way to revise sentences for information flow is to have a short known information subject followed by the verb. Here's a student example that needs revision.
In order to accomplish the goals, we anticipate the following activities would be required. Research into existing topography, hydrology, including historical flood levels, sightlines and priority specimen locations, geotechnical properties of the soil, and availability of construction access to sites along the creek would all be necessary. Once this research was complete, we would develop.
Pause the video to identify the subjects and main verbs of this example. Write the example down and underline the subject and circle the main verb. In this example, you should have underlined research into existing typography, hydrology including historical flood levels, sightlines and priority specimen locations, geotechnical properties of the soil and availability of construction access to sites along the creek as the subject, and circled would be as the main verb. The original sentence is confusing because the phrase research into appears as new information in the first place in the sentence. The writers may have meant research as inferable and known information from the following activities, but readers expect a list of activities, not a list of research topics. Furthermore, the end of the sentence, the area of emphasis, repeats given information by restating would all be necessary. Now that you have a better sense of why this example needs to be rewritten, go ahead and pause the video to revise this example using technique number 1.
In order to accomplish the goals, we have planned the following activities. First, we will investigate 5 areas: existing topography, hydrology, sightlines and priority specimen locations, geotechnical properties of the soil, and construction access to sites along the creek. Then we will develop.
This revision uses a short, known subject, we, and uses the verb investigate to express one activity. The areas of investigation are listed in the end of the sentence, which appropriately puts them in the area of emphasis. The sequence of activities is also made explicit with connecting words first and then. You may think that readers can easily infer topics or content from previous paragraphs, but it's safer to be explicit. A framing sentence can set the stage for the new information that will be presented in the new paragraph. Adding a framing sentence makes your writing more clear because it reestablishes a connection to previous statements. Here's a student example.
A bridge in the vicinity of the current bridge, a bridge located in the central region of the garden, and a bridge at the east end of the garden were considered. Figure 3 highlights the key advantages and disadvantages of each location. Based on these considerations, the preferred bridge location is in the center of the garden.
In this paragraph, the authors are presenting their argument for the preferred bridge location. In the original, sentence 1 begins with a long subject that is new information. Readers might guess that these are alternatives, but the long subject puts a heavy load on readers. The second sentence begins with new information, figure 3, and ends with anchored information, the key advantages and disadvantages of each location. Now pause the video to revise this example and add a framing sentence at the beginning of the paragraph.
The design team considered 3 alternatives for the bridge location and evaluated them for the 6 design criteria. The alternatives considered were 1. The vicinity of the current bridge, 2. The center of the garden, and 3. The east end of the garden. The evaluation shows that only alternative 2 meets all of the criteria, Table 3, Figure 3. Therefore, the preferred bridge location is alternative 2, the center of the garden.
The revision provides an opening sentence that starts with known information and also prepares readers for what is to come. This framing sentence prepares readers for all three alternatives, and it prepares them to see those three alternatives against the 6 criteria. The second sentence begins with known information and lists the alternatives. The third sentence uses known information to introduce figure 3. Like the original, the revision ends with the preferred location stated at the end of the sentence and at the end of the paragraph, so it receives emphasis. In summary, readers expect known information to come before new information in sentences. Effective writing makes it easy for readers to understand the writer's intended meaning. How you organize information in your writing is key for writing more effectively. The way information is presented is an especially important factor in engineering, where accurate, precise information is crucial. This webcast has been on Language Unit 7, Information Flow in Sentences, moving from known to new information. For a more detailed description of the content covered in this webcast and other tips for writing and proofreading, visit the Civil Engineering Writing Project website at www.cewriting.org. On the website, click on Materials for Courses and Self-Study, where you will find units on language, grammar, and genre for more instructions and techniques to improve your writing. Practice is crucial for writing more effectively. You can't just know the techniques. You have to see many examples and try them yourself. Thanks for watching, and join us again for more writing lessons from the Civil Engineering Writing Project.